Hi traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Hope everybody's having a great trading session and happy, joy, happy, joy, joy. All right, happy Wednesday for you. Happy hump day. Now, if I could make a sound of a camel, I would. I might. I'll have to find one. But that's not for today. That's not for right now. That is for, what is that? I don't know what that, let me delete alert inline. I'm not too sure what that's from. Okay, and I'm going to delete this alert too. Delete alert. Dump alert line. I don't know what that does. Anyway, I'm going to remove it. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's talk about the euro dollar and where we're at. Okay, so the euro, I'm actually going to go to an hourly chart. That's going to be a little bit better here, and I need to get my bias chart, but that's okay. So we hit the 7-8 retracement overnight. We hit right there. Okay, you can see the initial hit was like 2 hours ago. We hit 109.40, and the high was 44. I shorted the euro dollar at 109.28. I'm underwater like 10 pips right now. Okay, I'm sitting at just because I think this is a pretty decent area to be on the short side. However, I am aware keenly that we can break higher and retest these highs and possibly even break higher. Now, this pattern that you see here is not a flag pattern. Okay, in my opinion, I think we have extended too far the time that we've been there, but I can't rule it out either. You know, it's still possible that we can actually stab higher. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be today, because today we have really no data. You know, we could break higher just to break higher, but we have wholesale inventories. We have crude oil inventories. Then we have the RBNZ, right? Wholesale inventories, crude oil inventories, and we have a 10-year bond auction, and we got the RBNZ later today. So, a catalyst to actually drive us much higher than where we're at right now, unless it's just continued short covering. I mean, it's possible. What I will mark down, though, on this hourly chart is I will mark down the resistance at 109.80. I mean, resistance is really where we're at right now. And if you like Forex wrap from last night, okay, euro dollar stalled at 109, but a move above would target the 109.40 level that was written last night. Okay, and we're here. I mean, we went here and we stalled already, and now we're back, here again. So we might press new highs, and if we do that, we quite frankly could probably go to 109.80 and retest that 109.80 level. So that's one level I'm going to write down right now. Let's go over the bias chart. Let's put that down. This is a range. 1.0980, okay, is resistance, and that's going to be really key. I mean, it really is. I mean, yes, the high from the other day was, hold on, the high from the other day was 82, 80, 80, right there. Okay, that was the high, and we could retest that. We'll see. All right. Support is going to be back at 109. I think 109 is a pretty big level. Now I have it written as a dot. This is from before we even got there from last week, but I think we can get rid of that dotted line just to get rid of it. It's pretty big and sitting there. The 50% retracement comes in at 110. double check that. There's the low right there. So it's 110.20. 110.12. Okay, so those are all possible. So even if we breach new highs, just know that that 50% is 50% retracement is just sitting above. Okay, but for right now, let's figure out where support's going to be. I want to delete this. We can't deny the fact that that was a 38% retracement. I'm going to keep that trend line for a second. Get rid of this 200 period moving average, because what it does is it makes it harder to read these candles. See, by the time we get back down here, if we drop, by the time we get down here, it'll be 109, because you imagine this trend line is going to intersect by the time we get down here, 109 or so. 109, maybe 108.90. So I think support will be at 109. I mean, we held it all night. We just sat. It's like a shelf. You know, you can see it right here. It was just like we sat rejecting 109 yesterday, and then we finally broke above it, and then we just sat above it. So that should be real decent support today. We might break it while we're here, but I don't know. It seems like kind of a slow session at this point. Let's go over to the cable. All right. I haven't looked at the pound all day, actually. All day that I've been awake for the last hour and a half, I haven't looked at the cable yet. Okay, so the pound took out this downtrend line. As soon as it took out that downtrend line that we talked about yesterday, we talked about it taking off the downside pressure. Boy, did it, right? So if you guys have been watching the cable, man, that was your cue. We drew that blue line yesterday and we said, hey, if it takes out that downtrend line, downside pressure is taken off. And that's exactly what happened. Nice bounce. Now, question is, why did we stop where we stopped? So let's go to the high, trend high. And we hit the 618, like to the pip. 150.80. That's really resistance right now. It really is. I mean, you look at it, previous support, current resistance, you see all that? I mean, this is really resistance. If you guys want to short the cable, this is the place to do it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to short some cable right now. Not a huge position, but I just sold some at 73. I just sold a little bit. Okay. Except, you know, it's the cable. So, unfortunately, I might end up throwing my computer out the window when I get stopped out. But you guys know the cable's probably my I want to say it's probably my nemesis. so yeah, and this if I went and looked back from, okay, I started trading FX in 2001. Okay, before that I traded equities for a living for 96 to 2001, specifically just equities. I switched over to currencies like end of 2001, beginning of 2002. Actually, it was more like the beginning of 2002. And when I first started trading currencies, if I go all the way back, it is probably the one currency pair. The cable is probably the one currency pair I've probably overall that I've lost money in. If I had to go back and just go through, you know, hundreds of thousands of trades, I bet you, and I'm not going to go do it, but I bet you the cable is the one that's taking money from me. So you should know that before thinking about doing what I do with the cable. Anyway, so here's the pound dollar. And we're up at resistance here. I think support will be really tough on the way back down at 150. So I'm going to go ahead. It's a round number. It'll be retesting this broken trend line. It may be, whoops, I didn't want to do that. It may be a, move back to, this trend line. It would like some consolidation. So, somewhere down here. We just hit new highs. Damn it. I hate the cable. I hate it. All right. So anyway, 150 is going to be huge support on the way back down. 15000. I'm going to put an asterisk. Now, where's resistance? I mean, we're sitting at resistance right now, but let's say we get a little bit further boost. 150, 115. Spike highs up here, 786. We are in a range, and the cable could very easily be developing, some sort of consolidation ahead of the FOMC next week. We could very easily be doing this, So just be careful. We're trending lower, but we could break. We can stall somewhere up here. But we are range bound. All right. Let's go into the Swissy. So I bought some Swissy this morning, right here. I bought it at 99.04. All right. I picked up some Swissy. I have a lot of room to buy Swissy lower if I need to. Okay, but I did pick up some Swissy this morning. If you look at the daily chart, okay, actually let's go over to the weekly chart. Here's the weekly chart, and you'll notice, these trend lines that come through here. We're basically stalled at that trend line, roughly, because it depends how precisely you have them and depends what the rest of the market's looking at, but we're basically sitting on some support. We have room to drop even further, okay? What's going to be really important for the Swissy is the spike low from last week. Okay? That's this price right here, which comes in at 98.70. What is that? 98.75. Okay. We're basically here at the 50% retracement, but 98.75 is possible. A move down to 98 cents is possible. Okay. I am prepared to buy more if we go down there. So just keep that in mind. So we have 92.75 or 98.75 as support. Okay, and that's going to be pretty key support. Here we got 0.98. Resistance on the way back up. Well, any move back up to 99.50 is going to find some resistance from here. It's without a doubt. Okay. We're in a range. Let's go over to the yen. Now, I've been sitting in this dollar yen short literally for a week or so. All right, and like I said, you got to watch the support here at 122.25. If this breaks, the S&P is going to break down. Okay. This is huge support, ginormous. That comes in at 122, 20, basically. 122.25. 122.25. Major, major, major support. Okay. Resistance on the way back up. I mean, kind of like the cable was, what provoked a little bit of a short squeeze in the cable. It's going to be something like this, if we come back and retake some of these trend lines, but I don't know really where good resistance is going to be from here. Maybe 123. I don't know what that is. I mean, I think the round number at 123 will give us some good resistance, around about here. You can see we went to 123.07, back down to 122.85, back up to 123.05. I mean, you average all that out, it's around 123, so that should offer us some pretty good resistance on the way back up. I gotta ask, what would I be risking in the cable? I wouldn't want to risk more than 151.25, but I have my stops much deeper than that. But we get up to those levels, and I don't think I want to be short the cable anymore. But I'm giving it a little bit of risk here. Euro just hit new highs. Cable hit new highs too. So we'll see hit new lows. Okay, let's take a look at the, hold on really fast. Okay, we're going to take a look at some dollar Canadian. So here's the dollar Canadian, and I really, really want to own the dollar Canadian. I wrote down the support here, and I think this is from yesterday. I wrote it down at 135.25. You notice how the dollar Canadian is really having a tough time coming down. I really want to be a buyer at 134.50. If we get to 134.50, again, this is where you start hearing the Greek gods singing, like, oh, dollar Canadian reached 134.50. It's time to get long. Okay, but anyway, those are places that I'd like to actually be long the dollar Canadian if we can get down here. But I just don't know if we're going to do it. I think crude oil is extremely weak. I think crude's going straight to like a straight. I mean, define straight. I think it's going to 30 bucks within the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's going to really stop. I mean, it may stall here from time to time, but I don't think there's going to be much lift in it. You just look at the price action. I mean, it's just it may have tripped a couple of stops on the short side yesterday, but all in all, it's trading really heavy. There's no V-shaped recovery in crude right now. Crude looks like it's going lower. If it goes lower, my assumption is the dollar Canadian is going to go down with it. Dollar yen new lows, go dollar yen. All right, so anyway, yeah, if we get some risk off, dollar Canadian will probably shoot right up too. These commodity currencies tend to get wrecked during risk off environments, so I don't think this would be any different. Anyway, support for today, minor support's 135.25. Obviously resistance 136.20. It's 127% extension, as you guys know. Jason's like, I had to pull an all-nighter. Love your show. I'm out of here. See you, Jason. Get some sleep, man. I can't do all-nighters. Just can't do it. Can't do it. Beyond my capabilities at this point. 35, 25. I need sleep at my age. 135.25. I say at my age, but I know plenty of people that are older than me. They'll stay up all night. I just can't do it. I think it's more of my sleep schedule. It just doesn't allow for that. 136, obviously 136.20 is major resistance. We are bullish in the Canadian. Let's go take a look at the Kiwi. 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 Boy, did we hold 66 cents like it was nobody's business, huh? Look at that. Bam. Trend line held. So we drew all this yesterday, right? Look at that. Bam, 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 bam. Thank you, ma'am. You know what's really important about all that? What's really important about all that is because that is major support. When I say major support, that means if the RBNZ just cuts, rates, super dovish, whatever, we break through that, all the bulls in the Kiwi are going to be running for the hills. That's how major that is. All right, now the market is expecting the RBNZ to cut rates, but if they follow that up with, a dovish statement, and we break that, I think if you're bullish and if you're bullish the Kiwi, that is the place to be looking right now. No doubt about it. 65.90. I know it went a little lower, or 93, but let's write that down. 0.6590. If we close below that today, you know that whatever the RBNZ did is very bearish for price. Our resistance, like let's say we get a hawkish RBNZ, resistance will be back up at 66.90. I think we wrote that down yesterday, so 0.6690. I don't think we have to do anything different. We are in a range. Let's do the Aussie really fast. Here's the Aussie. What did we write down for support in the Aussie yesterday? Do you guys, did we write down 71.60 yesterday? What did we write down for support yesterday? 71.60? Okay. So overnight we went as low as 71.71. I need to sharpen up my skills. I was off by 10 pips. Damn you, Blake Morrow. Being off by 10 pips. What kind of free freaking webinar is this? 71.60. It's huge support. 618. Pretty key support there. If you're wondering what the asterisks are, denominates a very, very important level. Resistance, I'll mark it again way up here because I think that, if stocks can bounce, this is pretty key support for equity markets. If equity markets can bounce, 72.82. So 72.80. So we're in a range. Okay, when I come back, I got a question for you guys too. You techie people. When I come back, we'll finish up with the dollar index and everything else. All right, so I have one of my monitors went out, and I was thinking it was my, NVIDIA driver. It's like a GE Force or whatever driver, to run, multiple monitors. So I thought it was the driver, so I updated the driver, found the driver, updated it. It's not that, but I have a monitor that goes in and out, and so it like picks up the signal for like 10 minutes, and then the signal drops. I've tried tightening all my cables, but nothing. It's really, and it does the same. I actually switched out with a different monitor. That didn't work either. So I'm kind of running out of ideas. I'm thinking about reinstalling the software and hardware pulling out the CPU and ripping everything out and sticking it back in and reinstalling everything. I don't know where all my software is to that, but anyway, if you guys have Christos's cable, might be a problem. Yeah, I might have to try a new cable. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Seems like a cable issue. It seems like it's not picking up the signal. So, and no, this is I've been running Windows 10 on this machine for the last 2-3 months, and so anyway. All right. Thanks. I'll try cables. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a few moments. Thanks, everyone. Hi, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so things just kind of sitting there, huh? Equities are trading really heavy. They really are. I mean, we spiked up and Dow was up like 35 points. Now we're flat, on the session. Dollar weakness is coming in. You got the Swissies hitting new lows here. The Euro's right up against its highs. Dollar yen's hitting lows. I shorted the US dollar Swedish krona yesterday, and I already got out of it. I got in and out. I made a little bit, but not a whole lot. Pound's just kind of sitting there. We've still got to finish up the dollar index and everything else, but it's kind of quiet. Dollar index is coming under a little bit of pressure. Let's take a look at the hourly here. So here's the dollar index. We were looking at that trend line, obviously, yesterday. We broke that lower. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Trying to see where some better support is coming in at. Let's get rid of that line for now. I'm going to get rid of these fibs for now, too. So I had this horizontal line drawn from, I think, the other day, which previous high held as support. We overshot, which is very, very typical. When the market's aggressively moving, you tend to overshoot. In this case, we overshot a little bit, and I'm assuming that this is going to be pretty good support on the way back down. We might get as low as 97.55, 97.60, but 97.75. I think we're going to write that down for today, and that actually might that might coincide with like a fib too. So let's just double check. The 786 comes in 97.84, but I really think that all this will be support. Maybe 97.80. Dollar index won't be great support, but it will be some support. 97.80, obviously. Any move to retest this trend line, but that would take us all the way back up to these highs. And we'll hit resistance well before that today. That spike high on that hourly chart is going to be tough. Even these lows, previous highs, you can see how we right through here. It's all going to be pretty tough to get back through. So 98.35, that should cap us today. All right, let's take a look at the peso. So the peso stalled at the 127% extension. Pretty sure that's what we wrote down for resistance yesterday. Um, hmm. That right there, folks, is a Gartley pattern. If you haven't seen it, or if you can't see it, then here, I'll draw it over here. I want to see if it's already played out, though, so just stand by. US dollar MXN. Okay, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let's tighten that up a bit. Okay, so okay. Okay. It's almost a 618. 786, real close. 127% extension. Basically there. That's a Gartley. Looks like we're going to pull back here a little bit. So I think that because we did that Gartley, we could probably pull back to, maybe 1670 or so. Let's go take a look. 1683 would be the 38% retracement. 1675, 76 roughly, also a breakout point. That's the 50% retracement. So if the market goes risk on, means that we bounce, equities bounce a little bit here. It's entirely possible that we come back down here. So 1676 US dollar Mexican peso. Hold on. 1676, 16.76, and then 1708 is resistance. Obviously, 17. I've been trading the peso recently. I love it. It's a lot of fun. This is bullish, guys. It's bullish. You know why it's bullish? Because of this. Because that chart goes straight up is one reason, but because that trend line is still holding until this blue trend line breaks, there's no reason to be bearish. Okay. I mean, we respected it perfectly. All right. You want to be a buyer on pullback. So, by the way, the S&P is holding. So is the dollar yen. I should take my profits in the dollar yen realistically while we're down here. I think I will. I'm gonna keep my Aussie yen, Canadian yen, New Zealand yen, all my other yen pairs. I'm gonna liquidate or exit my dollar yen, out dollar yen for 65 pips. I'm out the dollar yen. Okay, just letting you guys know. All right, let's go take a look at the Norwegian krona. The Norwegian krona, 38% retracement held, took us to new highs. Really screwed a lot of people there. It's a mess. I don't know. I don't see any reason to trade it right now. It's so messy. I mean, it's trending higher. You definitely want to be a buyer on dips, but it's so messy. Let's go over to the Swedish krona. So like I said, I already covered my short, but I shorted it yesterday with the anticipation that we were, breaking back down through here. So I shorted it, drifted up a little bit, and then, I closed it out this morning. Support here is 844. Resistance is any move back up to 860 is going to be sold. So 8.6000. And we are range bound. Okay, your bias chart is done, folks. It's finished. So go ahead and take a picture of all that, and let's go into some of your questions. So going on.